This is your second chance now to be counted in for the battle to build your own Black Power independent economy. Black Power economy matters. So let's get our money together and let's put our hands together and support Zenzele Sales, an institution from the All African Peoples Development and Empowerment Project. Ooh.
Uhuru, comrades. Welcome to Zenzele Consignment. I just want to start by saluting my leadership, the chairman, the deputy chair owner, Zanaya Shatella, Director Aisha Fields, and the entire NCC. And I want to just appreciate everybody that's tuned into the plenary watching today. And as we said, my name is Kundai. I'm the assistant manager here at Zenzele. And Zenzele is one of over 50 economic projects under the Uhuru movement and the African People's Socialist Party. And so actually live here in the store. So y'all might see some customers. You might, get a chance to see some other people. But nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and get started today. How it's going to work is I'm going to show you guys some of our items. And if you're interested in purchasing it, just comment sold and whatever the item name is that I give you. And then, and also if you could put in your email, you can send it directly to this Zenzele consignment, or you can just put it in the chat. So then that way we can be able to send you an invoice so you can complete your purchase, and then we will ship it out to you. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. And I just want everybody to know also that when you shop Zenzele Consignment, you are contributing to the programs of the All African People's Development and Empowerment Project. That's our parent organization. You'll see a report presentation from ABDEP on Monday. So I hope everybody comes back and stays tuned on Monday for our report on that. So, okay, now let's go ahead and get started because I know y'all ready to shop. So get your pockets ready because we got to fund the revolution ourselves, okay? This is a part of that. So I want to start with the red, black, and green flags. The red, black, and green, these are 2x3s. These red, black, and green flags, the 2x3s are $14.99. You can comment sold RBG flag if you would like your red, black, and green flag. Again, it's a 2x3. Comment sold RBG flag if you would like one for $14.99. And we are also putting in the comments the link for you to join our VIP program. So you can save 5% off of your purchase today at the plenary. And as well as have access to other deals and discounts that we have at Zenzele Consignment. And next, I would like to show some face masks. I'm gonna be disciplined because I know we're on time limit, so I'm gonna be moving fast. So if there's anything you need, you guys can go ahead and put it in the chat. We do have members of our team in the chat also. So we have this mask here, this African print mask, and this one has with the Black Power fist on it. This mask is $10.99. If you're interested in this one, you can comment mask 1 sold, mask 1. We also have this print. This one doesn't have the fist on it. It's just this print. If you are interested in this one for $10.99, you can comment sold mask 2. And if you like this print, that also has the Africa and Queen on there. If you're interested in this one for $10.99, you can comment sold mask 3. And if you are interested in this print, you can comment sold mask 4. This one doesn't have writing on it, just on card print. Sold mask 4. And all right. And this one we have in the camo print. Writing on there and camo print, $10.99. You can comment sold mask 5, sold mask 5 if you're interested in that one. And next we are going to go to our t-shirts. So first we're gonna start off with our Project Black Unk t-shirt. If you guys don't know about Project Black Unk, then you gotta come back on Monday and check out the report from Dr. Aisha Fields about Project Black Unk. But it is our own, it's the African nation's response to the Red Cross. We got our own Red Cross. We want you guys to learn more about this program. But one way you can support this project is by purchasing this t-shirt. It's $25, any size you need. If you're interested in this shirt, and it says African Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Response, Project Black Unk. We have any size available on this one. So if you would like to purchase this one, you can just comment sold PBA t-shirt. sold PBA or sold PBA shirt. And then in parentheses, just put the size that you need. And then we also have from the African People's Socialist Party Southern Region economic development economic projects is the Freedom T-shirts. So this one is our African Leaders T-shirts. Don't worry, it's I heard somebody say this before. It's neo-colonialist proof. We don't got none of that in here. So you don't have to worry about it having all the right names except for one that you like. I just can't get it. So we got Marcus Garvey, Kwame Nkrumah, Malcolm X, Huey P. Newton, and Omali Yeshitela. So if you are interested in this shirt in the olive or green color for $20, you can comment sold green African Leaders T-shirt. Okay. And then again, in parentheses, put your size. If you would like it in the gray, you can comment sold African Leaders T-shirt gray, and then whatever size you would like. And we also have it available in black. So same thing, comment sold African Leaders black T-shirt, and in parentheses, the size that you need. And let us continue. Now we also have, this one is another one of our T-shirts, Black Every Damn Day. Right now, we only have this one available in small and the medium. And this one is $30. You can comment sold Black 365 T-shirt, and we'll know what it is and we'll get it to you. This one is a small. We also have a medium and long sleeve, okay? And we also have our Fight for Freedom T-shirt. We have this one available in any size as well, in black or white. You can get a white t-shirt with black writing, or a black t-shirt with white writing. So whatever size you need. If you're interested in this one, the Fight for Freedom T-shirt, you can comment sold fight t-shirt, sold fight t-shirt. And then in parentheses, you can just put whichever color you want, white or black, and then the size you need also, okay? So sold fight t-shirt. And now let's see, we are going to our buttons, our revolutionary buttons. So our first one that we're gonna show is our Assata Shakur button. And it has a small quote. I know it's really small. You guys might not be able to see on the screen, but it says, "It is our duty to fight for freedom. It is our duty to win." Assata Shakur button. These are $5. You can comment sold Assata. If you would like this button for $5, sold Assata. And then next we have Brother Malcolm X button, also $5. You can comment sold Malcolm button. Sold Malcolm button. And make sure you put button, because we have another piece with Malcolm on it that I want to get mixed up for you guys. So sold Malcolm button for $5. And we also have the Black Power fist, also $5. If you're interested in this one, you're gonna comment sold Black Power button, sold Black Power button. And again, our parent organization is APDEP. And if you guys don't know about APDEP yet, I'm so sorry for you. But again, you can stay tuned on Monday to hear our report for APDEP. And if you know about APDEP already and you want to rock your APDEP button in support, you can comment sold APDEP. If you would like the APDEP button for $5, sold APDEP. And we also have the Chairman Omali Yeshitela button, but you're gonna comment sold COY, sold COY, if you are interested in COY button. Yes, Jesse. Sold COY button if you are interested in this button of the chairman for $5. This is a really dope, iconic image of the chairman back in the days. And we also have, last but not least, is our Project Black Unk button. We do have the Project Black Unk button for you to also show support and contribute to our Project Black Unk fundraisers and programs. And this one says, our own African disaster and emergency response. And we also have another one that will be back available soon that says Red Cross Get Lost. That's my favorite button. But this one, if you're interested in this one, you can comment sold PBA button for $5. Sold PBA button for $5. And all right, so now, and we have some more treats for you guys, some revolutionary ones. We have some more revolutionaries to show you guys. So the first one that I'm going to show you guys, these are keychains, okay? So this one is the Walter Rodney keychain. Walter Rodney is one of our membership levels in APDEP. It's our lowest sustaining membership level for $25. So just keep that in mind throughout the plenary. But so this Walter Rodney button is $5. It's $5.99. You can comment sold Walter, or sold Rodney, and we'll know to get you this button for $5.99. And then we also have this one that has the Black Panther Party logo on there. It says Oakland, California, 1966 Black Panther Party, and with the Panther down there at the bottom. So if you're interested in this keychain, you for $5.99, you can comment sold Black Panther, sold Black Panther. And we got Chairman Fred Hampton keychain. If you're interested in this one, you're gonna comment sold Fred Hampton keychain or sold Fred keychain for $5.99. And we also have Malcolm as promised. If you would like the Malcolm X keychain, you're gonna comment sold Malcolm X keychain. Sold Malcolm X keychain. And we also have this one with the red background now. Che Guevara. If you're interested in this one, you can comment sold. Now, there's only one of these, so y'all gonna have to be quick. So comment sold Che. Sold Che. I think Jesse might have got it. Sold Che, if you're interested in this one. We will go back in the comments to check. And then we also have Marcus Garvey. If you're interested in this one, just comment sold Marcus keychain or sold Garvey keychain. Sold Garvey keychain. And then I got two real dope ones. Okay, these are the last two keychains. Chairman, we got the chairman keychain. If you're interested in this one, comment sold COY keychain, sold Koi keychain. And last but not least is the chairman's keychain in red. Oh, red. This is the only one of these that we have. So comment sold red Koi keychain if you're interested in this one. We only have one of these. Sold red Koi keychain. Okay, I think Chairwoman Penny Hess might have got that one. All right, and then we also have the Walter Rodney one in red. Also, you can comment sold red Rodney keychain if you're interested in this one, also for $5.99. And okay, so those are all the keychains that we have. We do have white sage. This is an air purifier. If you are interested in the white sage that we have, a bundle of sage is $6. You can comment sold sage. Sold sage. Okay, two. Okay. And then next we have is our, I want to show quickly a couple of chokers and necklaces that we have from Kenya. This Kenyan beaded choker, fringe choker, really cute. This one is red and white. It's $25.99. You can comment sold red choker, sold red choker if you're interested in this one for $25.99. And we also have this black and white fringe choker from Kenya. This black and white one is also $25.99. Comment sold black choker, sold black choker. And these two necklaces, also available and made in Kenya. This Kenyan beaded necklace, not a choker. This one is a necklace, $25.99, multicolor. You guys can comment sold multi necklace. And we also have it available in black with just a few accent beads. So if you would like it in black, you can comment sold black necklace. All right, and Also, this is our last red, black, and green fanny pack for a few months. So if you would like this RBG fanny pack, this is $35 for the waist bag. You can comment sold RBG waist bag, sold RBG waist bag for $35 if you're interested in this leather red, black, and green waist bag. And it has 2 pockets, one in the front and one big one in the back. And this is also our last duffel bag. So you got to move quick on this one with the Sankofa bird. Kente print here, leather in the back. Beautiful, beautiful traveling duffel bag. So when y'all get ready to travel for the 15-year anniversary convention at APSP, or come see us at Zinsla, you can travel in style. This bag is $85.99, $85.99, and we 2 pockets again, $85.99. You can comment sold duffel bag if you are interested in this one. And also I want to quickly show, I know I'm running close on time. This clutch, this purse or clutch is $39.99. These are made in Nigeria. Really nice buttons here, clasp on that. $39.99. You can comment green, sold green bag if you're interested in this one. And these are 100% cotton made with card print. And then we also have it available in red, blue, white, and yellow. If you like this color for $39.99, you can comment sold red and blue bag, sold red, blue bag. So yeah. Okay. How I'm doing on time? Timekeepers, hosts. Okay, if y'all tell me, Kundai gonna keep going. Oh, it's time. Okay. Thank you, comrades, so much. Really appreciate being on, and I hope everyone continues to tune in for the plenary and join the African People's Socialist Party. Continue to shop at our institutions. Uhuru.
Uhuru, Uhuru. That was some revolutionary swag right there. That's that Uhuru swag.
Yeah, I was ready to buy everything.
We want you to participate in your own liberation. Buy as much of this revolutionary swag as you possibly can. Because this is promote revolution, raise the consciousness of our people. So I'll do like that the daily consignment and for their wonderful work that they do. So without further ado, we're gonna bring our sister Nkinge Mayeli to announce nominees for Comrade of the Year. Uhuru, sister.
Uhuru, everyone. It's Nkinge again. And if you've been tuning in with us, you heard a little bit earlier that we're going to be awarding 2 comrades, the Comrade of the Year Award, the Marcus Garvey Outstanding Comrade of the Year Award. And I wanted to introduce you to several of our nominees. Lynn Dimmer and Sheila Manley. A little bit about Lynn. Lynn is, let's see, he was nominated by Comrade of the Year by Jesse Neville. And here is a little bit about what Jesse had to say about Lynn. He said that Lynn joined the Uhuru Solidarity Movement in May of 2020 after having attended a USM convention a month earlier. In a year and a half since then, Lynn has rapidly emerged as a powerful cadre member of the African People's Solidarity Committee, who provides tremendous leadership in the mass work of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, and in particular, the campaign of USM to win reparations from the moneyed sector as expressed through our Reparations Legacy Project. Lynn first became active on the ground in Philadelphia, where within the first few months of joining USM, he took on a leading role in organizing a march for reparations in October 2020. Soon after, he joined the newly formed Reparations Committee, formed by USM to implement the brilliant strategy that Chairman Omali Yeshitela and Deputy Chair Ona Zane Yeshitela had struggled for USM to carry out. Lynn showed profound unity with this struggle and strategy by the party and took on the role of coordinating donor outreach and development for the Reparations Legacy Project. This comrade embodies the qualities we strive to emulate in APSC and USM: enthusiasm, love for the party, a positive and optimistic revolutionary stance, a genuine commitment to the work for reparations and material solidarity, and an ability to articulate and internalize the line of African internationalism in a fresh, clear way. That's just a little bit about what Jesse had to say about Lynn Dimmer. Next, we have Sheila Manley. Sheila was nominated by Janine Griswold. And she says, I've had the pleasure of working with Sheila Manley at the Uhuru Furniture and Collectibles in Oakland. She started as a volunteer at our warehouse sales. She is very serious about all of the work she is assigned and takes it on with intention and determination. In the sales team, she is responsible for ensuring that all of our customers are asked to donate money during the checkout process, deepening their understanding of APEDF's mission and giving our supporters a new way of contributing to APEDF. During the time that she has been on the sales team, she played a key role in doubling our in-store donations and then proceeded to double them yet again, surpassing our goals. Sheila experimented with different ways to articulate the campaigns to the people. She often won some of our largest donations from customers based on her sincere approach and genuine unity with the growth of Uhuru Furniture and APEDF. Sheila Manley is ready for any assignment and takes them on with determination and a sincere, optimistic approach. No task is too great or too small for Sheila. It has been a pleasure to work with her, and she has taught me a lot this past year. Again, that is just 2 of our nominees. I hope that people will continue to tune in. We have many more. As I said, over the course of our plenary, you will get to know a little bit about each of our nominees. So I'm encouraging you to please stay tuned. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Kept getting muted. I was like, technology. Thank you for that, Comrade Kinge. Comrade Abdullah.
Uhuru, Comrade. I thought it was, thank you, Kinge and Kingebark. Okay, so it's at 4:45. I want to bring up our chairman, Amali Yeshatella, to resume his presentation. Thank you, sister. Thank you, brother chairman. Uhuru.
Comrade, we're gonna introduce the workshop.
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna save that. So people are gonna have to tune back in the rest of this week, get the rest of this report.
Yeah, Uhuru, there's some type of discrepancy here, but yeah, we're gonna work it out. So thank you, Comrade and Kinge. We are going to resume. This is what it says at 3:30 here, the redemption of Africa. Okay, so now we will have this panel. Is that right? We're gonna have this panel discussion.
Yes,
Chairman Amali Yeshatella, Luwezi Kinshasa, African Socialist International Secretary General, and Tafari Mugiri, Africa's Director of Organization. It is my honor to present the workshop, Independence in Our Lifetime, The Way Forward for Africa and the Party Congress, featuring once again, Amali Yeshatella, Luwezi Kinshasa, Secretary General of the African Socialist International and National Director of Organization for the Party for the whole of Africa region, Tafari Mugiri. So, Chairman, we would like to begin with you, who founded the African Socialist International more than 40 years ago, who has always fought for the total liberation and unification of Africa, building the party and winning people to the theory of African internationalism. Thank you, Chairman. Uhuru.
Thank you so much, Comrade Abdullah, for the introduction. And I want to be self-critical because I think you got a bit ambushed just a moment ago, because I know that initially I was supposed to come back and read from the political report, but we wanted to make that change. I'll get an opportunity to rest a little bit until tomorrow. And I didn't have an opportunity to convey that information to you so that you were not prepared. I also really want to express my tremendous appreciation for Comrades Tafari and Comrade Secretary General Louisa Kinshasa for participating in this discussion. As we have already indicated throughout this process, I think up to now. And certainly if it's not made clear, we'll talk about it probably sometime tomorrow anyway, that in the first Congress of the African People's Socialist Party, which was held 9 years after our founding, partially because of the terror that the African movement was still undergoing here in the United States, with police raids on our offices and meetings and assassinations and just a general kind of destabilization of our community that was determined to keep African people in the United States out of the revolutionary project, to push us out of the revolutionary project. So we were able in 1980-81 to hold our first Congress. And it was also because we have always been like a working class party and really didn't have experience in doing things and building Congresses. So that was another reason. I mean, we had no experience in doing that. And there's not that much experience in the African liberation movement, especially as it relates to the United States. And I think, generally speaking, it was true about our struggles everywhere of having Congresses. But we did have this Congress, and our inexperience is reflected in the fact that for that first Congress of the party in 1981, I actually wrote 2 political reports with different names. But one of the things that we did, we passed a resolution calling for the creation of the African Socialist International. We did this because we were tired of seeing what was happening to our Africa, how all around the world Africans were trying to struggle to make revolutionary transformation change in our conditions of existence, and how the Soviet Union, which was the premier recognized communist organization globally, had created a communist international, and had determined that there were only 6 authentic revolutionary organizations in Africa, in all of Africa. And based on this determination, they gave training and resources to those 6. Others like ZANU, the Zimbabwe African National Union, like the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, like the Southwest African National Union, and others who were out there struggling, had to rely on whatever kinds of resources could be scrapped up, and leaving some of them actually going in very reactionary directions. But the problem was, we believe, I was convinced at the time, that Africa, although we may be poor and very, generally speaking, individually, collectively, we have enough resources, and we have enough, both human and material, to be able to unite the African revolution and to determine ourselves what was a legitimate revolutionary organization, what was legitimate in terms of the struggle of African people. And so we created the African Socialist International. And I traveled various places throughout Europe, especially meeting with Africans, trying to track down, locate African revolutionaries that we could, organizations that we could bring into this, this association, this African Socialist International. It didn't work that way. But we were influenced by several things. One is that we kept running into some resistance by Pan-Africanists. And as you know, the Pan-Africanists were forces who became political forces in the struggle against Marcus Garvey and African fundamentalism. And W.E.B. Du Bois was one of the main forces here, but there were others as well. And the effects of the struggle about the Pan-Africanists to undermine Garvey, undermine philosophically the whole notion of Africa for Africans and that Africa is our homeland. That effect continues to bedevil a struggle that we're involved in today. And so we ran into several Pan-Africanists and we tried to talk to build this and it didn't work. So, but we're convinced that Garvey was correct, that it is possible to have and we must have a single revolutionary organization that embraces Africans all around the world with a single center, as opposed to this Pan-Africanist tendency that just recognized any entity that wanted to characterize itself as a Pan-Africanist and any a force in the world as a part of some kind of Pan-Africanist Congress or conference or something to that effect. We want to build a revolutionary organization. The objective is to take power. That's what Garvey was about. He wasn't just building organizations in order to hold parades and do things like that. The objective is to take power, building a movement that would take power, actually take power. And he built many in the processes, he built many of the actual and symbols of state power and actually created a kind of dual power, institutionalized economic work in the African community with a clear objective of harnessing all of the economic resources in the African community toward African interests. That's what motivated Garvey. That's what he was dealing with. And of course, we had a situation that there was a general kind of consciousness within the African world about our struggle against white colonial domination. And of course, in 1963, there was a conference that was held in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And this was a conference that was a Pan-Africanist based kind of conference. It was designed to build a whole movement, it said, of African people. But what it actually was about was contending with work by Kwame Nkrumah, who had begun meetings as early as 1957, 58, trying to organize Africans who had achieved independence, revolutionary forces who were struggling to win freedom into a movement to create an African state that would not only defeat colonialism as it represented itself as white power, but also take on the whole struggle against neo-colonialism as he understood it at the time. And in 1963 in Addis Ababa, Nkrumah failed, and this institution that was funded by, supported by the colonial powers of the world and did everything to make sure that Nkrumah could not be influential and successful. And so it was at this time in 1963 where the Organization of African Unity, as it was called, actually codified, legalized, and validated the colonial borders. In fact, part of the charter of the Organization of African Unity declared that there would be no change in the colonial borders. So that's where we first see the emergence of the recognition and validation of this body, this whole, we have a neo-colonial, African-wide neo-colonial entity that has now defined the struggle of Black people according to the colonial borders that were created by white power. And that's what we're fighting against. And that gives us an opportunity to fight against neo-colonialism, helps us to recognize that neo-colonialism is a part of the struggle we're involved in. Today, we live in a situation that has some similarities to the era of crisis that Garvey lived in, where there was disorder under the world. The first imperialist world war to redivide the world had occurred and did occur. There were efforts being made to parcel out parts of Africa to different white countries and white people, and Garvey was there. So this whole contradiction, confrontation between the colonial powers was something, and Africans were engaged in struggle everywhere, and we have a similar situation here today that we're confronted with. And people want revolution. People want meaningful transformation. And what we are seeing is that the African working people are tired of this kind of belly-crawling politic that tries to integrate into the existing social system, and they want revolution. And so that's what we're talking about. We talk about the redemption of Africa in our lifetime as we begin the process some time ago, constructing a capacity to take that, constructing it by organizationally, constructing it ideologically, politically, and what have you, and trying to create the cadre, revolutionary cadre, that is prepared to do whatever is necessary to win the liberation of our Africa, to achieve the discipline, to achieve the necessary ideological and political development to make that happen. So I want to just say that to introduce this discussion, and then turn it over to Comrade Louis de Kinshasa. As it has been said, he is the Secretary General of the African Socialist International Work. Comrade Louis de Kinshasa is from Congo. He is currently living in England, where he has been in exile sometime after first going to France. And now he is in England and has the basic responsibility for organizing the African Socialist International. In Africa, is located in occupied Tanzania, called South Africa by its colonial name. Comrade Tafari Mugeri, who is the director of organization for our Africa work, will also be participating in this discussion. So I want to just turn it over to you two comrades. Uhuru, Comrade Secretary General.
Uhuru, Chairman. Uhuru, just want to salute Chairman O'Malley for his relentless effort to build the African People's Socialist Party. I want to salute the National Central Committee of the African People's Socialist Party. I want to salute the entire Uhuru movement for putting together this powerful plenary. And I want to salute our distinguished guests for their brilliant solidarity messages. I just want to say I'm just, proud, honored just to be part of this panel of this workshop, because with African internationalism, we have a clear sense of our mission, of this process we're looking into. We know how this colonial capitalism was built. We also know how it's going to be destroyed. So when we say the redemption of Africa in our lifetime, we're saying it with confidence, because we understand, as I said, how this process was built. And we have a sense of significance of the role of our African people, particularly African working class, in this process to eradicate colonialism, global colonialism, as the foundation upon which capitalism was created. You can't have capitalism without colonialism. So we understand that, and we're saying it to everybody, to ourselves and to the whole world, that global colonialism depends on an African nation being basically the pedestal, the starting point, and reorganizing to end that relationship, and reorganizing with confidence. As I said, we have been able, with African internationalism, to have a theory that explains not just to Africans, but to everybody on the planet. There is no mysterious capitalism, because we know it's global colonialism. Colonization of Africans, colonization of indigenous people in the Americas, theft of Africa, theft of the Americas, theft of the resources in the Middle East and in Asia. We understand it, and we want the people also to understand it every way. And that's why we speak about it with confidence. And we're involved in a process where African working class has to capture power. We talked a lot about cultural revolution. the existence, the creation, the development of African internationalism of the African People's Socialist Party into African Socialist International, because African Socialist International is basically the African People's Socialist Party on a global scale, is the driving of the change in the world. We talk about cultural revolution in African community on a large scale. The starting point is the creation and the development of the African People's Socialist Party. Is around our party that the cultural revolution is going to happen. Is around our party that the work to destroy colonialism as the foundation, as the pedestal of capitalism is happening and is going to develop. And we know that with African internationalism and with the African Socialist International, we have a new vision of the future. We have a new vision of ourselves. We have a new vision of the role and the place of African people in the world. We have a new vision of the world because we are organizing to build a new world where there will be no colonial capitalism at all. As you all know, that will be replaced with socialism. And that's what Chairman O'Malley said a long time ago, the road to socialism is painted black. So this is the significance of it. So we are deepening the meaning of anti-colonial struggle today. We are totally, as you know, opposed to neocolonialism, which is a reform of colonialism. In order to save colonialism from black revolution, they have to kill Patrice Lumumba, they have to kill Malcolm X, they have to kill Guevara, and leaders like that, just to save colonialism. And in neocolonialism, the administration of colonialism is handed over to the African petty bourgeoisie. So that's why we should not allow anyone to say black people failed or black people are worst enemy. No, the African petty bourgeoisie betrayed the revolution. The African petty bourgeoisie is the enemy from within. So white colonial governors are replaced by African petty bourgeoisie. When we used to have a white man or a white woman being a governor in Ghana or anywhere in Africa, now you have a Mr. Black President or Mr. Prime Minister, something like that. The African administrators of colonialism will do everything the white colonial governors used to do directly to us. Don't make any mistake. The African petty bourgeoisie, in order to defend colonialism, must do the things the colonial governors used to do. Shoot other people, murder, assassinate the freedom fighters. Today we have mass graves all over Africa, in Sudan, in the Congo, in Rwanda, in Uganda. You have mass graves, and the African petty bourgeoisie organized those mass graves in collaboration with the United States government or French government or British government and so on, but they did it. So there should be no hesitation, no really confusion that the African petty bourgeoisie has to be removed from power. We have the African petty bourgeoisie in power, but it's still a colonial economy built at our expense against the African people. Remember, the African petty bourgeoisie continue to transfer our gold, our diamond, our oil, our gas, our coltan, our uranium to old and new colonial countries without compensation. No African should accept it. That life is unbearable for our people everywhere. And every day, tons and tons and tons of our resources are being transferred, not even sold, transferred everywhere to new and old colonial powers everywhere. And our children are going to jail in England, going to jail in the US, in Canada, in Brazil, and all those places. It should not be tolerated. African labor is still not paid. It's just real value. People go for months in Africa or for years without being paid. In Zambia, in Congo, in Guinea-Bissau. If I take Congo, for example, coltan is produced at gunpoint. The coltan is needed by the Silicon Valley. Microsoft needs coltan. Apple needs coltan. Samsung needs coltan. Huawei needs coltan. All these companies, all these electronic companies need coltan. But coltan is obtained, is produced at gunpoint. And not only is produced at gunpoint, mass rape of African women is a part of the production of coltan, tin, tungsten, other material. All this is documented. So child labor is everywhere in Africa. gold and cobalt mine. You go to Ghana, you go to Congo, you go to Mali, all these mines where they produce gold. Children are working there. You go to Ivory Coast where we produce cocoa. Children are working there. So that's colonialism. That's no super exploitation or anything. That's the norm. That's how capitalism works. It cannot work without colonialism. And you cannot have colonialism without genocide of African people, without rape of African women, without exploitation for African children. That's how it was born. That's how it's maintained. That's how it works today. It doesn't matter if you talk about last century or this century. That's how, colonial capitalism definitely work. So with African internationalism, we know the work of Marcus Garvey, the work of Malcolm X, of Patrice Lumumba, of Kwame Nkrumah, of Steve Biko, of Fred Hampton, all these leaders who came before us, we can say they did not die in vain, because there is a continuity of their work through the African People's Socialist Party. Not only there is a continuity through African internationalism, now we can see the crisis of colonial capitalism everywhere. Crisis everywhere. We begin to see the masses of Africans demanding, for example, that the French colonizers to leave Mali. We haven't heard anything like this since the 60s. Now it's happening, which means if it's happening in Mali, you should hear that in another country in Africa. You should hear that in the United States or Brazil or somewhere else. But Africans begin to demand colonizers must go. So we have to generalize that demand, because it's not just in Mali. It should happen everywhere. Colonialism must be eradicated. And now we are in a better situation. Not only are we demanding that the African masses have access for the first time to their own working class, to their own revolutionary organization. That's the African Socialist International. As I say, it's the African People's Socialist Party on a global scale. We are there. We are in many places around the world. We are not yet the strongest yet, but we are growing. We are everywhere. So this is also an aspect of the crisis. That's why we can say with confidence, we can see the redemption of Africa and of African people everywhere. And that redemption cannot just happen because we talking about it. It's going to happen because we have a revolutionary organization. There can't be black freedom without total decolonization. There can't be total decolonization without a worldwide black revolution. And there can't be a worldwide revolution without the building on the ground everywhere where African people are located, the African Socialist International. This has to be done. If you want to see black freedom, you have to be part of this party. You have to participate on the building on the ground, the African Socialist International. This is the vehicle to the African redemption. When you see African Socialist International, you are looking at the redemption of Africa and African people everywhere. And remember, France and all white colonial capitalist nations did not accept the Haitian Revolution because they were able to isolate the Haitian Revolution despite the heroic Africans in Haiti and the inspiration they gave to all of us at the time. That's why our revolution has to be a worldwide revolution by its very nature. At its inception, it has to be an African revolution, a worldwide one. We do rap music, we do reggae everywhere, we mobilize, for George Floyd everywhere at the same time. We must mobilize for revolution at the same time, in the same organization, with the same philosophy. And the redemption of Africa requires that we intensify access to each other's. We should not be isolated as the colonialism has imposed on us. We have to beat the colonial borders, the colonial migrations, and the requirement of visa, for example, for Africans going back home. You need a visa to go to Ghana, to go to Nigeria. That should not be accepted. Any African going home, we should go free. No visa should be required for any African going home. And this is necessary in the process of completing the Black Revolution, which I said once again is the complete overthrow of colonialism as the global colonial mode of production. You will hear no other organization saying this unless they heard it from Chairman O'Malley or they heard it from the African People's Socialist Party. So this is our mission, is basically to destroy the global colonialism as the foundation upon which capitalism rests, is to build a black power state. You can't talk about redemption of Africa without power. So that's why we're talking of the necessity that power has to become a demand from everywhere, from all black community. Just as Chairman said some 40 years ago, or that reparation demand has to become a household name. So the demand for black power, international black power state, international African power state, has to become a demand of every black household on the planet, because we need that power so we can have a United States of Africa, and we can have a united African nation. All the black people are part of the African nation. And this, the struggle for nationhood. We don't have a nation. We don't have a state. Our nation is dispersed, fragmented. And it can only become a reality if our homeland is freed and united. And African internationalism, once again, is the road to African nationhood. That's why, the leadership of Chairman O'Malley is so significant. Is so historical, because he's been able to solve all the questions left unresolved from the 60s, and we just continuing with the legacy, basically, with everything he has been able to give to us. So complete the Black Revolution. To make that happen, as I said, we already have a revolutionary philosophy sitting organization, International Black Power State, the process to negate a colonial economy and replace it with our own Black Power international economy. And you will see the report tomorrow coming in, for example, from DC owner. You've seen already some examples during the Black Power sales just today. You will see the significance of building a Black Power economy. It has to be an international economy. We have to have access to our own resources. We must have access to each other. And we have definitely build an economy based on satisfying the demand and aspiration of our people everywhere. And in the 60s, no one builds a party to take power from the white colonizers and not controlled by the African petty bourgeoisie. We had organizations in the 60s, but you didn't have organization built to take power from white power to destroy the colonial state, and also not to be controlled by the African petty bourgeoisie. It did not happen. And that's why we're making history, because now we have a political organization. We have a philosophy created from the very beginning to arm the African working class to fight for power. Not just any power, but to fight for international power. And this will require, basically, for everyone who's listening, if you believe you're down with that, you should just go to APSP.org and begin your process, to become a member. I want to end by saying this. We know the African petty bourgeoisie has been dominating the landscape everywhere for a long time. But now, African internationalism is coming. They can't continue to do that. The days of African petty bourgeoisie are definitely numbered. They no longer can enjoy the monopoly of power, the monopoly of electoral politics, and things like that. Just think about it. A country like China, 1.5 or 1.4 billion people, nobody is starving, nobody goes hungry, everybody has access to clean water and electricity. You go to black community, you go to Jamaica, 3 million people, life is problematic in Jamaica. You go to Gabon, less than 3 million people, life is problematic. When you take a country like Congo alone, can feed as many people as they are in India, because the size is a bit similar, and India has 1.3 billion people. Can you just see that? Now put all Africa together, and we're starving. That should not be accepted. It's a creation of colonialism. We should have the best life on the planet, because we have all the resources, and there are soon probably 2 billion of us. So if it took China 50 years to be where they are after making the Chinese Revolution, so Africa, when the Black Revolution is completed, with all the resources we have, it should not take us 50 years. It should take us maybe 10 years. Someone told me maybe 5 years, just to redeem African lives so we can have a life of dignity. So this is doable. It's doable because we have the science to make it happen. Only thing is missing is make the revolution, complete the revolution. That's why we need you to embrace the United for African Internationalism. You will hear my comrade, Director Tafai will speak on this issue. We have everything. We have the regional strategies. We have the mass organization. We solve the white people question. We have the solidarity. So we open the door even to the colonizers to join the revolution. To basically, we have been able to split the oppressor white nation. This is a tremendous, that's a brilliant strategy. We have done it. And we're building, we're expanding on it everywhere. That the oppressor white nation can be divided, which means they cannot win against us because we have people who are working behind the enemy lines. That's the power of African internationalism. We're doing it. So I just want everyone who's listening, if you're not a member, African, anywhere, you cannot justify not being in support. If you can't be a member, not being in support of Black Power. Life dignity begins with we as a people having access to international Black Power. So why can't you join it? If you can't, why can't you support it? So we should be becoming intolerant, that Africans, are on the sidelines or doing other things. No, revolution has to become the order of the day. We are in a hurry. Our young people demanding it, and I unite with them. Revolution now. We want it now. Join the APSP today. So I want to thank once again everyone who worked hard to pull this together. This is a great plenary. This is a process to get the African working class to learn how to use the rule. This way, this best to solve problems and manage your own affairs. That's what's happening now. We're learning how to manage our own affairs. So the African working class is learning how to become the new ruling class. This in itself is a part of the redemption of Africa. So it's not happening in the near future. The process is ongoing. So join us today. So I'll stop here. Uhuru, Comrade, Uhuru the chairs, Erika and Abdullah. Great chairing, by the way. Uhuru, comrades.
Okay. Uhuru. Yeah, Uhuru, comrades. Let me see. Yeah, I hope none of you comrades in the audience wish to be in my position right now, because it's not going to be easy speaking after, two of the greatest revolutionaries alive right now. SG Luwezi, Kinshasa, and my chairman, Omali Eshitela. But then, as it has been said, I am Tafari Mugeri, and I am the director of organization for the African People's Socialist Party in Africa, as well as the chair of the party here in Occupy Tanzania. I want to salute, the leadership of Chairman Omali Eshitela, who is the leader and founder of our movement, and the architect of African internationalism. And I also want to salute my direct leadership, SG Luwezi, as well as the entire National Central Committee of the African People's Socialist Party. And I just want to give a salute to to the MCs as well as this entire plenary conference. I'm going to speak in my capacity as the director of organization for Africa, but I'd also want to speak as a young person, because like just looking at the fact that we were born, we are a generation that was born from the defeat of the Black Revolution. Like here in Occupy Tanzania, we had to be discovered by the Uhuru movement for us to know that we can be revolutionaries. Had it not been for the African People's Socialist Party, we would be part of something else out there, but then not in the same trajectory that the great Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Robert Sobukwe, and like the likes of Kwame Nkrumah were on. So we're saying that this continuum that we are speaking of in terms of the Black Revolution of the 1960s up to now, we are only able to express it and be able to live it because of what the chairman and the African People's Socialist Party have done to make sure that we continue in the same path. We never compromise. we never deviate and go to some compromise that will actually ultimately, tarnish the future of African people permanently. So I am absolutely grateful to the African People's Socialist Party and the Uhuru movement. And I just want to give a warning to every young person that could be watching this right now, that there is an emergence actually of young opportunists, young people that just want to take advantage of the fact that masses of African people are not have been removed, pushed out of political life completely, and they are careers, they are part of some trajectory that is outside of just winning the total liberation and redemption of Africa. They want to perpetuate neocolonialism. They want to inherit neocolonialism. Here in South Africa, you have these young people that proclaim Pan-Africanism and some other version of neocolonialism that's out there. And they do this in a very bold way. They go out there being live all the time. Sometimes they are on the streets. Sometimes we see them on the news, on the televisions and so forth. And part of why they have the courage and the space to do that is because the genuine forces are not out there. We don't go out there with determination, with the confidence, we have to be out there and be able to challenge all these opportunists out there, because we have the African People's Socialist Party, we have the Uhuru movement, and we have a philosophy that can defend us. Nothing out there in the world can challenge African internationalism. There's no one that can come with any other philosophy and be able to win against African internationalism. So I want to say that, and to say to young people that we have to take this on and take Africa to its, total liberation and redemption. And I just want to be able to speak about why we are here. We are here because we are colonized, and we are colonized wherever we are. All the challenges that we are confronted with as African people is due to the fact that we live under colonial domination, white power colonial domination. And we have come here to this plenary, and actually for those of us that are members of the Uhuru movement and the African Socialist Party, we are here because we don't accept it. We cannot accept that Africa is dominated. We cannot accept, even however colonialism or imperialism can suggest that we can get, something out of it, we can get a share out of it, or whatever the case may be. We're saying that no, we want the total liberation of Africa. We want to be self-determining. We want African people to govern Africa. That's why we're saying that the Uhuru movement is the best vehicle for us to get there. Because if we just wanted to be included in the system, we would be somewhere else. But we are here because we're saying that there is no way that African people can achieve self-determination without the total destruction of this whole foul social system. So part of the reason that attracted me to the African People's Socialist Party, to the Uhuru movement, is because I could see that we believe in what we say. When we say Africa will be free, when we say African redemption in our lifetime, we believe it. When we say that the total liberation of Africa in Chairman Omali Yeshitela's time, we believe it. And we believe that we are going to win. It's not something that we say because it's fancy to say, or maybe it's trending or something. We say that because we know that African people being oppressed, being colonized, cannot, live under these conditions forever. People will continue to resist. But then the role of us as the vanguard, as the leadership of the African revolution, our responsibility is to provide direction to that resistance that we are seeing all over the place. We're seeing movements across the continent right now. We're seeing movements even in Europe or even in the Americas, but then we're saying that it's not enough to simply resist. We have to to be able to answer the question of to what end? And we're talking about a liberated, unified, socialist Africa. So there's a question of how do we get there? So this is why I appreciate the chairman, Omali Yeshitela, because he has been able to respond and answer that question of how do we get there? We need organization. That's why we have the African People's Socialist Party. And we have an organization that's able to unite us wherever we are. Because we don't even have to have all sorts of movements, just to be honest. Because why? African people are one. And we are all colonized wherever we are. So if you're all fighting against colonialism, then we have to come to the same conclusion of saying that the way for us to be free is if we destroy this colonialism. And the colonialism has manifested itself in all sorts of ways. We have all these borders that separate us in Africa. I am here in South Africa, but then I cannot go to Ghana freely. I have to apply for some visa, and my visa application may be declined, but I am right here in Africa. But then someone from Europe or someone from the United States can freely come to Africa and roam around, or even go on some game reserve and be able to to hunt some animals and things like that. But then in Africa, as an African, I cannot do any of those things, because why? I'm colonized. Africa does not belong to me right now. It's not in my hands. It's in the hands of the oppressor, in the hands of the colonizers. So we have a responsibility as revolutionaries to be able to do what to respond and say that we need organization, but also we need philosophy. We need theory. That's what Chairman Omali Shitela has been emphasizing. That's why we are African internationalists, because we can all claim to be all black and wanting revolution and freedom, but then if we don't have the same philosophy, if we don't have a philosophy that's able to explain to us the world as it is, then we come to different conclusions, and then we cannot properly organize. We cannot go to the same direction. That's why we have to win the masses of the African working class to African internationalism. Right now, here in Africa, our party is growing in leaps and bounds. In West Africa, we have the party and party membership in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, in Ghana, in Cote d'Ivoire, also in Central Africa, in Chad, but also in East Africa. We are there in Uganda. Comrade N is there in Uganda. And then we also are there in Kenya, also in Tanzania, but also here in Southern Africa, where we will be hosting our 2023 8th Congress of the African People's Socialist Party here in South Africa. We are there in South Africa, but we are also there in Swaziland right now. Comrade Zwane is there in Swaziland. And we're able to do this because we build around a strategy. And this strategy has been laid out by our leadership, Chairman Omali Shitela, and we refer to it as the regional strategy. And this is not something that we are just proclaiming or some wishful declarations. There is evidence of practical struggle that has been engaged in since the last 50 years or so. We have, if you look at our work in the United States of America, we have demonstrated how Africa could look like if we are preparing to govern right now. Because when we talk about the redemption of Africa, we want to redeem Africa, because African people were once free. We're not fighting for something that's just out there, imaginary, like some people will claim that we just fighting. Our struggle began on some slave plantation. We're saying African people were once free, and to be free means that you are self-governing. That's why we have institutions in the United States right now. We have Uhuru Bakeries. We have the Black Power Blueprint in St. Louis. We have the gym in St. Petersburg, and we have Zenzele Consignment in Huntsville. All these institutions demonstrate to us that we are preparing ourselves to take on Africa. So we are ready to do that. So it is a practical struggle that we are engaged in. So I just want to be able to appreciate the party for even declaring that African internationalism is a theory of practice, and we can be able to embrace the entire African nation. That's why we have all these mass organizations. Right here in occupied Tanzania, we have the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement, and it fights for the democratic rights of African people. And we have said that self-determination is the highest expression of democracy. And we have the African National Women's Organization. So African women don't have to go to some direction, some neo-colonial direction, to be able to address some of the immediate and concrete and real issues that they're preoccupied about. they can be part of the African Revolution. Everyone can be part of the African Revolution. We have the All African People's Development and Empowerment Project. APDEP, Comrade Asa is leading APDEP here in Occupied Tanzania, and we are doing the same in Sierra Leone. So the African People's Socialist Party is well equipped to take us there to the redemption of Africa. There's no other organization that is building in this kind of, within this kind of strategy. Like here in Occupied Tanzania in South Africa, we had in the last election more than 500 political organizations campaigning, but all those organizations are fighting to save South Africa. They're talking about how our democracy is being compromised by the ANC and so forth. So they're fighting to be the better ANC. They want to preserve South Africa, but South Africa is colonialism. South Africa was born through the attack on Africa. South Africa was not born to save African people. We were free. But then South Africa came as a consequence of African people being dominated. So if you want to preserve South Africa, then you want to preserve the colonial domination of African people. But then because we have African internationalism, we can say that, no, we don't see a future within South Africa. We see a future within a liberated Africa that can only emerge at the expense of South Africa, Nigeria, and all these colonial entities that were built and are maintained at our expense right now. So we want a totally unified, totally liberated Africa, one economy, and one nation, one state that can actually ensure that all African children in Africa can eat. Right now in South Africa, in this South Africa, that's supposed to be the most advanced economy in the continent. You find that youth, African youth right now in South Africa, they mentioned last year that 72% of young people are unemployed, and over about 42% of the entire population is unemployed. Right now in South Africa, that's the reality. What is happening with all these people that do not have an income? These are the African people that are there waiting for us to make an intervention, to come and say that the only way we can be free is not for us to wait for some white men to come somewhere and build a factory in our community. We can be free by being able to capture Africa for our own self, because Africa is rich in mineral resources and we have the skills right now. We have acquired the skills. We can build our own economy. The issue that we have right now is political. It's a political issue because we don't have political power. We have been removed out of political life. If we can capture African people politically, then we can be able to define what politics means. Because right now, under the ANC in South Africa, politics means that you're gonna wait and for the next election after 5 years, and then you vote. After voting, you go back and sit and just go hungry again. But then we're saying that politics is concentrated economics. So we can solve the economic question of employment, of resources, and so forth by winning on the political front. So that's what we are engaged in. So we're saying the African working class have to emerge through the Uhuru movement. The African working class must emerge through the African People's Socialist Party, and we are determined to do that. That's why we're building this party in the working class communities all over South Africa. We're doing that in Swaziland. We're doing that in West Africa, also in East Africa. And you should just look out for all the developments that are going to be taking place here on the African continent. We are preparing for the 2023 International Congress of the African People's Socialist Party. And we're going to embrace all African people. We're going to embrace you from the United States, from Europe, from all over the world. African people must descend here in Occupied Tanzania in South Africa for the 8th Congress. So I just want to salute this plenary conference, salute the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, salute Chairman Omali Shitela and all the comrades that have converged here on this historic event. So Uhuru.
Oh. Uhuru, thank you. I just want to salute this entire panel. It's truly been an honor to participate today. It looks like we have a couple of questions for our panelists. And each of you can feel free to take it on if you'd like. We've got some time for that. But the question comes from Larry Ball on Facebook, and it reads, does the party allow religious freedom?
Does the party allow religious freedom? I don't understand the question. We're not a religious organization. And our organization is based in philosophical materialism and not idealism. But the truth of the matter is that people have come into our party who are religious. And I imagine that there are people who hold some religious beliefs who are in the party right now. But the fact is that we think that any form of philosophical idealism ultimately leads us to a dead end. And that our objective, even with people who may come into the party as religious believers, as philosophical idealism, whether it's religion or whether it's some other form of idealism, our objective is to win them while in the process of making the struggle. So generally speaking, unless somebody suggests that they cannot come into the party, or that coming into the party means that the party has become a religious organization or facilitate their religious beliefs or something to that effect, generally speaking, people do come into the party, many of whom are religious. And some come into the party who are religious and or who come into our movement who are religious and decide that they can't come into the party and they work in some other organization that's led by the African People's Socialist Party. But we are not an organization based on oppressing anybody because of religion. In fact, the truth of the matter is that the African People's Socialist Party, our organization, our membership is more likely to defend the religious rights and freedoms of African people than even the clerics, the preachers and things like that who talk about religion as the only way forward. We believe in absolute and total liberation. We believe that real freedom is recognition of necessity. And what that means in part, recognition of necessity really helps to move us beyond superstition, philosophical idealism, and what have you, and put us on a trajectory that can win the material freedom of our people, which contributes to the spiritual freedom, liberation. By spiritual, I'm not using this in some way that people often use to talk about being religious. I'm talking about in James Brown. I'm talking about that which makes us up, as people, etc. And you don't have to be religious to have that, Uhuru.
Ooh, like that owl. Thank you, Chairman.
Yeah.
Comrade, sorry. Speak to that.
Oh, Uhuru, Comrade, I don't think I have much to add. I just unite with everything that the chairman has said, and it's true that we do have people that are religious in the party, and so I've never experienced, like any, like real issues. I feel like actually people that join our party being religious, they experience less challenges than being elsewhere, because we focus on the practical, struggle of winning total liberation of African people. That's what we're engaged in. African people are preoccupied with some real issues, as opposed to saying that which God is the right God and so forth. That's more frustrating, and you usually don't, come to, a sort of consensus around that, But then if you can see the police in the community, you can see the cops here, and you know that the cops don't solve any problem in the Black community anywhere in the world, And you can all agree on that. You can agree that white people here, like in the community that I live in, it's a township. We live in shacks here, And then just across it's not even a highway, just across the main road it's a white community and they have everything. We go to the white community to work, to clean their yards, to work in their, small warehouses and whatever. And then, and then we come back here and we still confronted with all these problems. That's something that all of us experience as African people, So it's easier for anyone to, if they're really, really concerned about African people being oppressed, then they can, function in the African People's Socialist Party.
Oh, thank you for that, Director.
Let me just add to that, if I may.
Yes.
Because I think it is extremely important to say that we are African internationalists, which is to say we do have a political philosophy, and it's based on materialism, philosophical materialism. It is based on historical materialism. And so we seek our answers and build our policies based on that. We have no policies, none whatsoever, that has a religious basis. That this is why we do this because of some religious faith or belief. There may be people in the party, and I don't know this from my personal experience, but there may be people in the party who do work to carry out our revolutionary mission because they are influenced also by religion. As long as it puts us in that trajectory, we say right on, we can deal with that. But I want to say also that, you hear all the time that the reason that our struggle had certain effectiveness in Haiti is because of voodoo. You hear from time to time that the reason that we are not as effective in our movement is because we lost our African religion. You hear people trying to build movements and organizations based on juju, voodoo, African religion, and things like that. But a problem with that in part is that you cannot know where the hell they're gonna go. You don't know where that religion is gonna take them from one day to the next. We provide a scientific explanation. We say, this is how the situation that we are confronted with as a people came into existence. We know that concretely. We didn't have to read a Bible or the Quran or anything like that. We know how this system came into being. And there's nothing in the Bible that tells me how it happened. There's nothing in the Quran that tells me how this system came into being, that based on some materialist assessment. And so, that I think that's important. And if you look at the entirety of this plenary, everything has a scientific basis for what it is that we're trying to do. We don't make any jabs one way or another at somebody's religion. It has a scientific basis. We say again that we are materialists and we believe in the dialectical process, et cetera. And the other thing that's really important about being materialist is we recognize, and this is extremely important to us, that we have the ability to change the world that we live in. We don't have to wait for any external forces. We don't have to pray in the right directions. We don't have to know what the chicken bones say or anything like that. We know we can change these circumstances. It was human beings who created the circumstances that Africans are confronted with. So we know that human beings can change that, and we have accepted for ourselves the responsibility to do that based on that knowledge, based on the fact that we create organizations that will facilitate our capacity to do that, based on the fact that we also develop cadre, human beings who are professional revolutions. No matter what their occupation may be, they have agreed to and united with becoming professional revolution. Revolution is our profession. We recognize that African people catch hell everywhere, that we do not have the luxury of being able to somehow wait until next year or next month, et cetera. I don't know how many Africans are gonna die within the next hour of this discussion we're having now someplace in the world because of violence, because of poverty, because of colonialism. So we accept this responsibility as human beings to change this world. And what we do also is give every African an opportunity to participate in changing the world. You can lead. You can be the leader. You can be the force that's transforming this world. We believe that, and that's what informs our practice, and that's especially true for the African working class. That's especially true for women who are part of the African working class, to know that this world can be changed and that you have the power when organized and connected with other Africans with the philosophy and organization and a political strategy to make it happen. That's what we rely on. And so if we want to understand the Bible, we study the Bible. We want to understand the world, we study the world. African internationalism takes us into an investigation of the world, and it gives us the ability to make an analysis based on that investigation. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Thank you for that, Chairman. It's that analysis that's gotten us here 50 years later. SG Wazy, be able to get you unmuted.
Yeah, I couldn't unmute. Yes, I just want to say I unite what I just heard from from Chairman. I just want to say a few things quickly about that. Is that you can't separate religion with colonialism. You know, like we were not Catholics. For example, I take Congo as an example, until colonialism came. And colonialism made us Catholics. Most of the schools in the Congo are run by Catholics. And there is no way you cannot fight colonialism without fighting the organized Catholic Church, because the organized Catholic Church has always been opposed to resistance in Africa and Congo in particular. And they took side at the decisive moments when Lumumba began to start to consolidate his leadership. The Catholic Church came heavily against him. You know, Lumumba didn't have a chance to organization to fight back ideologically. They slandered him, and every day in the church, the Catholic Church did that. And so as we fight against colonialism, institutions that support colonialism, have to be fought against. If you take Catholic Church, for example, they use free labor. If you go to Catholic Church, they go asked to work for free in the farms and things like that. They have money, they have properties everywhere. The work's being done by African workers, not by the bishops or cardinals. The workers did all the work, but the bishops, the cardinals, they are the rich. They belong to the ruling class. They have access to resources. They have the money, they have the education, they have the prestige, they have all those things. And most of them, as I said, were opposed to independence. And today, most of them are still opposed to the revolution because they defend basically status quo. And also you have not just the Catholic Church, you have a proliferation of so-called evangelical churches in Congo, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, all those places. And most overwhelming number of them, they are connected to the United States government, to the CIA, to the ruling class in Africa. And they take money from the people every day. They take money, they take time from the working class every day. Some of them have private jets, some of them have a limousine. You have all these things exist. So we are not against the people, saying like they are, they want to practice the religion, things like that. But we are opposed to colonialism. We are opposed to the defense of colonialism. For things to change, the African working class, the African people must have access to revolution. There is no way you cannot get around that. Revolution needs to happen. And we are with people who go to church and they say, in the name of God or Jesus, like Nat Turner, that you go kill the slave masters. Jesus and all these, spiritual people never ask the people money. I never seen Jesus ask me for money. But you go to church in a black community every day, money is leaving us, going to the banks, And our youth have no access to money. The police, jails are being filled up in London here with the black youth that have access to capital. But the church has our money. They take it to the banks. So there is a reality we need to fight against. We don't want our money to go to church. We want the money from the working class to come to the working class struggle, to come to our movement, but at least to go back to the community where it came from. But the preachers that facilitate the money transfer, the resource transfer, just like those who are in power in Africa facilitate the transfer of our gold, the diamond. They also facilitate the transfer of our financial resources. The little money we have, they take it and move it to the banks and move it to somewhere else. So you take the question of indigenous people in Americas. Many are Catholics, but the reality is they lost the land in America. We go to Catholics who probably is a landowner in the Americas. So the question of colonialism is really central. We want indigenous people to have access to land. We will have to, expropriate the Catholic Church too, because they are property, landowners. They have access to wealth stolen from the indigenous people, and this is true all over the world. So a free Africa will determine really what the spirituality is, because you can't say you're spiritual and you are in peace with colonialism. It doesn't make sense. If you're spiritual, it means that you must be done with revolution. You go study African internationalism, because there's not a way to be free. So you want to be free, come down to African internationalism, and these are really profound, discussion that we need to have, because this question of material understanding of the world and idealistic understanding of the world is critical to move the revolution forward. So I just want to, say this word.
Woodrow, I unite with that completely. I'm looking forward to that discussion. That's one thing I tell people. I'm like, religion, that's a colonial construct. So. We've got a little bit more time here. So we got one more question. Comrade Mundisi, forgive me, on Zoom. They said, Uhuru, question for Director Luezi or any others. In the strive to destroy colonialism, what are the strategies to strip the power from the petty bourgeoisie?
Yes, well, we talked about a lot of things. I can just take a few. We're talking about regional strategy. Regional strategy undermines the power of the African petty bourgeoisie because we don't consider the borders. We say we are in West Africa as a region. So no borders in terms of ideas, organizational work. All activity we're going to do is a block, is a regional block. So we don't respect the borders that the colonizers have imposed on us. And the borders are needed by the African petty bourgeoisie to defend their powers, to defend their collaboration, their betrayal. Because you can't go there and fight, they'll say you're not from there. But in reality, the colonizers from all over the world are in every African country. They don't care about the borders. In fact, most of those countries don't even have the technological capacity to know who's coming to their country. So it does not make sense at all. But the other thing is the African working class must know the interests. They must identify the interests of all the social forces in society. I know the interests of the mosquitoes cannot be the same as our people's interests. The mosquito want blood, our blood. So we have to be clear on that. So who wants our blood? The colonizers and the collaborators. So, and we said all along, the African petty bourgeoisie used to dominate the political scene. All the organizations are created by them. So you go create the organization for the African working class. And the vanguard of it is the African People's Socialist Party. So you have to make accessible, the people need to know the existence of the party, of African internationalism, the chairman, the leaders of the party. The people need to know there is a viable response, answer, alternative. It exists. When they know it, then it's up to the forces on the ground. Are they going to implement the strategy of the party on the ground? Are they going to create the annual African National Women Organization on the ground? Are they going to create INPIDM, the International People Who Democratic Movement? Are they going to, that's up to the people on the ground there, but you have to help the people to identify their own interests and the interests of all the other social forces, so you will know who is going to move against you, who is against the people, and things like that. Because bottom line, anybody who is not attacking colonialism is problematic, because to move forward, to be progressive, to play any positive role, you have to be on board to destroy colonialism as the basis upon which capitalism came into existence. So that's basically what I can say.
Whoa. Thank you, Secretary General. All right.
I want to just unite with this discussion around the African petty bourgeoisie. And when we talk about the power of the petty bourgeoisie, I think it's really important for us to remember that power is concrete. It's not just some abstract concept that we have, it's concrete. And that the reason the petty bourgeoisie has power in our lives, in the colonies, because we don't have power. And the way that we negate the power of the petty bourgeoisie is through organizing the African people in every place we are located to capture political power. In every community, every city, every province, every state, every territory. That's what Comrade Louise, Secretary General, when he talks about the regional strategy, it is a strategy that is designed to promote the capture of actual, real, concrete power. That means it says something about what we have to do as organizers. It's not just enough to be able to have a good web presence or something to that effect, or to be social media militants. We have to organize our people where they are. We have to be on the ground in these communities. And so that's the way we negate the influence of the petty bourgeoisie. We need to create a situation where nobody can function in a territory where the party is located without the permission of the African People's Socialist Party. The African working class organized to be able to look out for its own interests. That's absolutely necessary. It says something about what we have to do as a party. That's why we have the Burning Spear newspaper too. We go into every place, every nook and cranny. We sell that paper. We have forums and symposiums, and we intervene in every struggle that's happening in the community. They steal our children. We organize the people, and we give a better explanation of why our children are stolen. They kill our children. We organize people to resist. We raise the fighting capacity of the people by organizing them to resist, to demonstrate against them. And then we help the people to understand through science exactly why this happened. And then we bring them into actual organization. We shut the community down from any force that's hostile to the interests of the African working class and the African nation. That's concrete. And so, that takes work. That takes a certain character of cadre, a certain commitment from human beings to take back our freedom, to take back our Africa, to take back every space that exists, and not to share it with anybody. We talk sometimes, or I make the analogy that the common so-called gang, street organization, without any political education, recognizes that you got to control turf. And most of these so-called revolutionary pretenders don't get that, and they're satisfied with getting a certain number of likes on social media, on Facebook or something to that effect, and that's not going to get it for us. So if we want to win against the petty bourgeoisie, we have to make struggle, organize the African working class in its own interest, put the party and organization down. That's going to be the response to the existence of the petty bourgeoisie influence.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Director Tafari. Thank you, Secretary General Louise. It looks like we're ahead of schedule, So We have a few more minutes. Each of you have about 2 minutes each, if you would like, before we sum up and close this discussion. If there were any lingering pieces that you'd like to follow up on.
Yes, or yeah, just the on the question of redemption of Africa. I just want all Africans to really be aware, to be conscious. The world is changing. A new era is upon us, and the African Revolution is going to be the catalyst to accelerate and to formulate the new world we want to see. Because this world, as you know, was built when the Portuguese attacked Africa. That was 1415. That was 77 years before they arrived in the Americas. So they've been looting and killing and kidnapping all those for 77 years. And now Africans everywhere on the planet are coming to the conclusion we better fight colonizers, and we must remove the collaborators from power. And this is something you begin to see, you begin to hear everywhere. And this is, you can't, look at this conclusion without looking at the work of the African People's Party is doing. You can't look at it without considering the leadership of the chairman. Think about it. There is no political achievement in the last 50 years anywhere on the planet that is linked to any organization apart from the African People's Party. You want to talk about the reparation demand is everywhere? That's the African People's Party. That's African internationalism. And you want to talk about people talking about black power now? That's definitely has to do with the African People's Party. You want to talk about the role of white people? That's African People's Party. So you talk about preparing to govern the African working class going to power. Nowhere you will see that on the planet. Nowhere, unless you come to this party. So the redemption of Africa, we've been working for it. Now just a question of massifying our conclusion, our leadership, everything. And that's why if you're watching this program, I don't see how you can go home if you never joined. If you're not a member yet, you should be a member. Because history, every cry of African child, every humiliation of an African person on the planet is calling on you to join. It's calling for you to join, to be a catalyst, to complete the Black Revolution of the 60s, so that the relation of Africa is real. It's real. So I just want to say I'm thankful for just being part of this panelist. It's just great.
Yes, Uhuru, Comrade. I just want to really express appreciation also for being part of this panel. I'm absolutely honored, and I just want to say to, the comrades that are already in the movement, in the struggle, that, the chairman has said that it's a protracted struggle, right? Meaning that we have a slogan here in South Africa that says, freedom now, inkululeko ngoku. We want freedom now. We don't say we want our land in the next 5 years or 10 years, whatever. We want it now. But then we also recognize that, we're going to have to go through, struggles, and it's not going to be easy. So if we join the movement with the assumption that it's going to be smooth and you're going to keep everything that you've always had and you're just going to be, it's just going to be nice and whatever, I don't think we are being serious if we're thinking like that. There has to be sacrifices made, Malcolm X has talked about these things anyway, so I just want to say that to those that are already in the movement, and say that we have a responsibility to give those that are not in the movement to have the courage, to believe in it, and to feel that they want to be part of it. So I salute the chairman, I salute the African People's Party, and and the entire process. Uhuru.
I want to thank you, these comrades, these incredible presentations that we've heard from everybody on this panel. And I want to say that I want to respond also to the words by Comrade Tafari, that there is such a thing as revolutionary patience, but we demand liberation now. We say liberation in our lifetime, my lifetime. We have a responsibility to do that. It's a cop-out otherwise. We hear people saying all the time, and we used to, we may not get it in my lifetime, but my children will somehow make it happen. But to say that I'm voluntarily leaving this situation for my children is a cop-out. And the fact is, we have to say, in my lifetime, we have to take it down, wipe it out, destroy it. And that says something about our responsibility as Africans, as human beings, to be tolerant of oppression and exploitation. It is corrupting to know that you live under colonial domination and to actually work with it, to actually participate in that. Without resistance, without struggle. And the truth of the matter is that most young African people are in a permanent state of resistance. And that's what I love. I mean, people are criticizing young people all the time because this state of resistance sometimes is misdirected. Sometimes it doesn't understand who the hell they were fighting, what the fight is about, but they're always resistance. That's what colonialism does all the time. White man say, wear your hat this way, wear it that way. Wear your pants this way, wear it that way. The young Africans are in a permanent state of resistance, and we as revolutionaries and members of the African People's Socialist Party, as African internationalists, have to intervene and take the science and help everybody to come to the conclusion about what our responsibility is. We have to criticize everything about the colonial reality that we experience, everything. There's nothing in our lives that should not be criticized. And that goes to the whole question of religion too. That was brought to us through this relationship that we enjoy most of the time with the colonizer. That's what we do as a party. Individuals who have not yet been able to do that, who are in the party, you will. I have no doubt about that, because you're smart enough to come to the party. You recognize that we have an explanation for everything, and you are united with other people who take that on. Comrade Secretary General Louise was commenting on how the neo-colonial petty bourgeoisie, they facilitate the theft of oil and coltan and cobalt and just all kinds of resources from Africa. But they do more than that. They facilitate a political economy organized around oil and coltan and diamonds, when what we might need is rice and greens and lima beans and other kinds of things, as opposed to the diamonds. Diamonds have no intrinsic value at all. So that's part of what they do. We're talking about overturning this entire social system and all the relationships, and much of what they characterize as valuable will lose its value as a consequence of this revolution that we have to make. I think that I look at the question of religion, because it's not just an abstract issue. We talked about, Comrade Louise, about what the Catholic Church has done. And also, I just remember in 1966, on May 24th, the day before Christmas, 1966, 5 days before we took the mural down, the Black preachers in the city of St. Petersburg got together and worked with the white folk to try to make sure that we did not have the demonstrations that resulted in that mural coming down. The preachers did that behind the backs of the people. And I happened to find out because there was somebody who I was close to, and we invaded that. We actually had a demonstration in front of the church on December 24th, 1966. We had a protest demonstration. That's on Christmas Eve. We saw in Gainesville, Florida, when we organized the people, African people, to be in solidarity with the Iranians. After the Iranians had, in 1979, had captured this nest of spies that they called an embassy in Tehran. And white people in America were killing people who they thought were Iranians or attacking them. At the esteemed university in Florida, University of Florida, they were having night rallies with bonfires and things like that, talking about send the Klan to Iran and the sand niggers go home, this kind of thing. And so we intervened as the party. The preachers got together and asked all the African people not to come out. They did this collectively. So they play a role because they have a relationship. I mean, they might have a relationship with God, but sometimes I think they confuse the white man, the colonizer, with this God, because that's where they were taking directions from. And we see that all the time. There's no place where we have been working that we didn't have that struggle. I agree that there have been exceptions to this. There have been, one or two preachers who really stepped forward, who took serious this whole notion that somehow they are the pastors of the African people, but generally speaking, that's not the case. And so I just wanted to say that this is a really important plenary, and we are on the road to our liberation. And this whole thing about 50 years of relentless struggle for the redemption of Africa, and I want to say that for the redemption of Africa, not for St. Petersburg, not for Brixton in London, not for Folkville in South Africa, but for Africa, not for us in the Caribbean, all of Africa. We have assumed the responsibility that Marcus Garvey took up a long time ago. And we are determined that Africa will be redeemed. Africa will be redeemed. African people will be able to stand up to our full stature. We who brought civilization to the planet Earth will be able to stand up in dignity and get out from under the humiliating foreign and alien domination by people who only brought violence to our existence and the theft of our resources. So I just wanted to say that, comrade, and just again, express my appreciation to these comrades, these leaders. And you can see how we can say independence and freedom and liberation in our lifetime by looking at the comrades and listening to them and seeing the work that's being done in various places in the African world to make it happen. African people have to really be able to believe that we can have the power, we must have the power. There's nothing mysterious about power. White people exercise it all the time in our lives in 1,000 different ways. And that power is one of the things that make us sometimes reluctant to even get involved in the struggle. We have to have the power, and African people can have the power, and we can free ourselves and free the world in the process of doing that. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Thank you, Chairman. All right, Comrade Abdullah, we got you back on the call. We still in here?
Uhuru, comrades, thank you, Chairman O'Malley. Was that your summation? If not, I'm supposed to call upon you to do your summation at this time. But that sounded like a profound summation to me for the day's activities. You're the chairman. Did he say that was his?
That's the summation.
Absolutely.
It was an excellent summation. Thank you very much. Back to you, Sister Erica, for announcement.
Uhuru.
Well, let's just take up some little time. That was a profound analysis, using African internationalism. The panel slated, Tafari, SG Luazy, and the chairman always brings it. So I'm just really gratified. And I just appreciate his profound, disciplined, revolutionary, intelligent leadership. So we just have to get behind our chairman. We just have to do what we're supposed to do. And we can have freedom in our lifetime. We can have freedom in our lifetime. We don't have to wait another 10, 15, 20 years to keep on trying to wade in and beg in for it's ours. Africa is ours. We just need to reclaim Africa and redeem ourselves. And nobody will do it but us. Uhuru.
Uhuru. We had comments in the chat that were taking place during that panel. Mm-hmm. And Comrade Masamela said, this is why African internationalism is so profound and essential for all African people. This is our weapon and any African can use this. Salute.
That's right, uhuru.
Uhuru.
So do we have any announcements or not?
I am looking for you now.
Okay, well, we're gonna keep looking for them until we get cued by our profound leadership. That AB team, I would like to be self-critical. They did cue me that the chairman, the program had been changed, but I was remiss. So I want to absolve them of any blame for any miscommunication because it's always on me. So I just thank them for they did a wonderful crack job. So I appreciate that very much.
Uhuru.
So, okay, we got one. Okay. All right, I did not get any. So we're gonna, next thing is to close this out. This is a profound day, as the chairman summarized. We really had a good time. We really learned a lot. If you was listening, you learned a lot today. You learned a lot today. If you were listening, you learned a whole lot. And so I appreciate that profound leadership. I appreciate all the participants, all the supporters, all the people who were in solidarity with us. It's just profound. So this was the Marcus Garvey Day. This was his day. So I just like to thank everybody for participating, everybody who called other people and told them, hey, tune in, listen. We're going to be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock again. So we want you to tune in, to listen. We want you to vanguard up. Ease way let through. Africa, vanguard up.
Vanguard up.
Whoa.
And if people are needing to know for any other upcoming events, they can also go to theburningspear.com/events. But we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Just one more announcement. People can visit theburningspear.com/events for everything upcoming. Again, that's theburningspear.com/events for everything coming up. So thank you again, all our panelists, everybody who made this thing happen. Uhuru.
Uhuru.